Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. I'm Girmay Zahilay, new King County Executive. Thank you so much to our media partners for getting this really important information out. This is a very serious and emerging situation, and we appreciate the role of the media in informing our communities. Around 11:30 a.m. this morning, the Desimone levee on the Green River was breached and caused flooding at Olympic Avenue South in Tukwila behind Rainier Industries. Although this was sudden and caused widespread concern, fortunately, no one was injured. In coordination with local mayors across South King County, we have been able to respond quickly, and the levee is in the process of being repaired. I also want to acknowledge the quick action from King County workers who were on site at the time of the breach, and the rapid coordination from the team here at the Emergency Operations Center right behind me. Their dynamic action allowed us to release a quick evacuation notice to keep people safe and rapidly bring together our partners to develop a response plan. Their work is not over and conditions remain dynamic. As rain returns and water levels continue to rise and change in unpredictable ways, the most important action that residents can take is to please listen to experts, listen to responders, and listen to law enforcement. I mentioned this yesterday when we had our press conference at the Levy site on Friday, but if you don't listen to law enforcement and emergency responders when they ask you to leave an area, you are not only putting yourself at risk, you are putting our first responders at risk as well. If you go into a site that says do not go when there is an evacuation notice going, if you enter that area, first responders will have to save you, and that puts them at risk as well. So please heed these warnings. Please follow all instructions to keep you and your families and our first responders safe. If you are advised to leave your workplace or your home, please follow the advice and evacuation to a safe location. Do not drive on closed roads. If you see a sign that says a road is closed, please do not take the risk. Do not try to go around it. Turn around and leave, or else you put yourself at risk for drowning. Quick action can and will save lives. We are thankful for the incredibly hard work of our team members across King County, including the Department of Emergency Management, Department of Natural Resources and Parks, Department of Local Services, and our Sheriff's Office, among many others. We are also thankful for the close coordination with the excellent mayors across King County and with Governor Bob Ferguson. Now I want to turn it over to the independent experts who can give a more detailed briefing about the present conditions. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Executive. I'm Brendan McCluskey. I'm the Director of Emergency Management here in King County. The Green River has been high this week. It's already flooded in some areas due to the atmospheric river events. With increased flow and duration on the lower Green, levees can become saturated and weaken. There have been multiple emergency actions to reinforce this area with seepage and reduce flood risks. Flood Patrol has been monitoring the area, and our staff were on site on area work on repairs. However, this does not remove all risk. We've had a coordinated county response. That includes all the county agencies you've heard about, the cities, and our other partners, including the National Weather Service who's here. For this today, we quickly identified the problem and issued an evacuation notice to 1,100 contacts, which included businesses, industrial areas, and residents. No one has been injured. Repair time is estimated at several hours, and you'll hear more from our Director of Natural Resources and Parks about that. On site, we have the Department of Natural Resources and Park, the Army Corps of Engineers, and local services. Our Sheriff's Office helicopter is doing reconnaissance in the area. And residents should expect and have affected significant drive times in the area due to the evacuation notice. Our Emergency Operations Center, as you heard, has been fully activated for a week now. We're coordinating daily with partners across the county, the cities, our state and federal partners as well, and we have the National Weather Service here embedded with us. We get minute-to-minute weather updates, and we also thank the Red Cross for helping us with sheltering. We're releasing daily messages on flood response and actions and residents can take as they look forward to recovery. And I'll just mention kcemergency.com. That's the best place to get information. And let me turn it over now to the Sheriff.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm King County Sheriff Patty Cole Tyndall. I want to let you know that the Sheriff's Office is currently supporting the flooding event by partnering with our local, state, and federal law enforcement partners and agencies. We are utilizing Guardian 1, that's our helicopter, for observation of the situation and scouting the rest of the river system for vulnerability. We have drones in the air to get up close to see any problem areas. The Sheriff's Office Dive Unit and SWAT team are partnered with area and regional swift water rescue teams. They are prepared to respond to life safety calls. Finally, with our heavy lift helicopters, that's Guardian 2, they're standing by for rescues, for the delivery of materials to assist in quickly filling breaches in the levee system. We will continue in a high state of readiness until the danger passes. I'll now turn it over to John Taylor, the Director of Natural Resources and Parks.
Thank you, Sharon. John Taylor, Director of the Department of Natural Resources and Parks. So this is an area that we have been watching. We were concerned about it. We did some repairs on it on Friday, and we had crews looking at it today when the breach occurred. We were able to respond very swiftly with great support from our colleagues in the Road Services Division, who brought in material and equipment to help repair it. Repair is underway with super sacks. Those are those big nylon bags that you'll see. You've seen a lot of them during this event, and we're filling the breach with those. We will keep monitoring it. We are monitoring a number of areas on all of the levees right now where we know there could be issues, and we're going to try to stay ahead of it so we don't have breaches and we keep the public safe. But our crews are going to be out all night long looking at these levees with support from the Sheriff's Office and others. And I'm going to turn it over to the National Weather Service.
Hello, Reed Wolcott, Warning Coordination Meteorologist with the National Weather Service. First and foremost, we are not done with this event yet. We have a flash flood warning out for the particular breach that occurred, but this is just one small event. There is a regional event that has been going on for more than a week at this point, and we expect more impacts across the Pacific Northwest over the coming days. We've had multiple atmospheric river systems impact the region. Extreme amounts of rainfall have fallen in the Cascades and the headwaters of all of our river systems across western Washington. As a result, we have embedded a number of meteorologists into EOCs up and down western Washington. I'm personally here today supporting the King County EOC. So when we first got the initial word that there was a breach occurring, we were able to rapidly coordinate a response, issue a flash flood warning shortly after we had that confirmation occur. It was a rather large area because we didn't know specifically which areas would flood. We've since refined the initial alerting area to a much smaller area, and we will continue to refine that alert as we learn more information on the potential impacts. We will continue to coordinate all of that information through King County Office of Emergency Management. I do want to stress this is just one small event within a larger disaster that is still unfolding across the Pacific Northwest. There have been some significant wind gusts today. We expect that to continue on into tomorrow at times. I do want to stress that with the winds brings additional danger. We have some gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour across King County and the greater region over the next 24 to 48 hours. That does not sound like a lot for us here in the Pacific Northwest. We deal with that all the time, but our soils are not normally this saturated. We have a very high risk of trees coming down onto vehicles, onto houses across the region. So this is just, again, I really want to stress, this is one relatively small event in the greater disaster that is unfolding across the Pacific Northwest. And the Weather Service will be here and continue to work with our partners to make sure they have the best available information so that they can respond appropriately. Thank you.
I just want to add one more point that the communications coming from our Office of Emergency Management under the director, Brendan McCluskey, have been exceptional. People have approached me asking where they can get the most up-to-date information, and I want to continue lifting up the website that they are continuing to update, kcemergency.com. Please go to kcemergency.com. There you will find information about this breach that we are talking about today, You'll find information about where people can find shelter. You can find information about how volunteers can help and where they can make contributions toward. Everyone has a role. We can all do our part to keep each other safe. But I just wanted to share that website again, kcemergency.com. And again, thank you to all of our first responders, all of our county officials, all of our levels of government who have been coordinating effectively on this point. And we're happy to take a few questions.
I can't give you an exact one, but I would say it's a matter of hours. There's the wind. That's the short-term fix. We will come back after this event and do a more thorough long-term fix. And we'll probably be doing work on a number of facilities throughout the system after this event is over, when the water's lower and we can assess what damage has been. A lot of the levees have been damaged during this event and are going to need repairs when conditions allow.
You said there were signs that this had been having issues as early as Friday?
Yeah.
What those signs were?
Water was appearing on the other side of the levee. So we were seeing water coming through the levee, and we have a couple of levees where we're seeing that happening and we're monitoring them very closely. Sometimes that's okay. Sometimes that's just part of the hydrology. Sometimes it's an indication there's something going on inside the levee that we need to keep an eye on. And I just want to really emphasize this for the public. We were there because we're monitoring these levees very closely. We do not want to have breaches in levees. We're doing everything we can to make sure that doesn't happen, and we're staying ahead of these conditions.
Is this the same section of levee that was damaged in 2020?
I see the Director of Water and Land Resources nodding vigorously that it was.
How do you pronounce the name of the levee?
It's a topic of disagreement, but I say Desimone.
Are there resources for vulnerable people in the area who might not have a phone?
I'm going to defer to my colleague with emergency management.
I'd say if they can get to the website, kcemergency.com, that's where they have the best up-to-date information. I think we've also shared information with 211, so people could call 211 to get information as well.
What about people who are like unhoused?
Again, we've been working with partners, including the King County Regional Homelessness Authority, to make sure the unhoused population is also taken care of in this situation.
Do you have an estimate on how many folks have been evacuated so far?
From this area, it was mostly industrial and commercial. I don't think there were any residential areas, but we've had evacuations in other places, and probably upwards of 500 have been evacuated.
And is there a place you're specifically directing them to go? I heard over, they said north or south.
So to get out of the area that is immediately impacted, yes, we were telling them to go north or south. We did have a spot where Metro Transit has put a bus for people that might have needed some assistance getting out. And we have a shelter open in coordination with the city of Auburn, and that information is also found on kcemergency.com.
Was there a seepage blanket installed last week?
There was, and we were beefing that seepage blanket up today. That was part of the work that was scheduled for today. That's why the crews were there when the breach started to occur.
The temporary patches was a sandbag?
Yeah.
Is there any concern that the super sacks won't hold?
I think we're always concerned about what are emergency repairs. That's why we'll be monitoring it. But, I am not an engineer and I don't pretend to be one. We have really good engineers who are looking at this, and they're the ones that came up with the fix. So it'll hold for now. We're just going to need to be monitoring it along with a number of other sites.
You said many levees have failed. Do you know how many?
No levees. This is the first breach of a levee we've had. We have areas that we're watching closely because we're seeing water coming through. I think the thing that we want folks to understand is it's not typical to have these levees have this much water behind them for this long. And so they're getting saturated and they're starting to show the effects of that, which is why we're paying close attention to them.
How many buildings took on water, if any?
I don't know the answer to that question. Do you know the answer to that question?
I don't know that we have an answer to that question. The map of the area that we sent the alerts to is on kcemergency.com, so you can see. But whether or not those buildings are taking on water, I don't know.
When the folks who are in the evacuation area
That'll be a question that we'll need to answer in the future. Right now, the situation is still dynamic. There is still water coming out, even though they're trying to make the fix. And once that happens and we can safely let people go back in, we'll let them know.
Are National Guard troops helping with that right now?
So we do have some National Guard assets here helping with the Sheriff's Office, and we also have some National Guard people here helping with spotting on the levees.
Did the emergency construction work lead to the failure of the levy in any way?
No. I mean, I would just say that categorically. I'm not an engineer, but we knew that the conditions were such that the levee was being impacted, which is why we were doing the repairs. If anything, they forestalled this happening for a couple of days.
We're hearing the word breach and fail. Can you describe just what it looks like for folks who are unfamiliar?
It looks like a V in the levee. It started at the bottom and kind of caved in, and it looks like a stream running through the levee. It isn't pouring through. It's not a huge amount of water. And I'm sure that if you all would like, we can make photos available to you. There's a lot of photo documentation and video documentation of it taken from drones. So we can make those available to you. I was relieved when I saw it because I thought it was going to be more dramatic than it was. So it's good that it wasn't as dramatic as it could have been.
One last question, if anyone has.